Right then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. Fallout TV show is out. It's been out for a while now. I'm thinking about 3 weeks now. It's out, or is it 4 weeks? I don't know. Spoilers, but I'm hoping that enough people have seen it, and so we could talk about it. Welcome to the stream, High Ground, Out of Commission, otherwise known as Tyler Evans, Francis Jorg Morgan. How's it swim? How's it going? Strix. Not seen the show. After watching the video, you watched the. I mean, no, it's a corpo tactic. Corpo tactic, you see. And you're currently drunk. Well, that explains that. Got to the stream. That's a shame. I was there. Probably will pass out soon. That's not good. That's not good at all. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Let's start talking to our first man here. We're gonna take it nice and easy to start off with because actually I should just. There we go. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Pretty sure
Hey,
everyone on stream can hear you too.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
Good to hear.
But yeah, we're gonna start things off nice and easy. We got a list of topics here to go through. We're gonna leave the big kahunas for later. I was told by some people that they're gonna join later on, and so on. So we might as well take it easy. But first,
okay. I mean, I watched the show. I played the games except 1 and 2 and 76. So I'm not a very good lore expert, but I'll try to do my best.
All right. Well, I guess you'll be hanging in there. What did you think of the show? Let's start there.
Well, me personally, I didn't like it that much. I think it was like a 5 out of 10 in my opinions because they retconned some stuff. Yeah, it's average. It's not the best part was the actress, the black-haired one. I liked her very much. That was the best part of the show in my opinion. I think she had a very much 10 charisma in stats, and she really flips the show. She and the paladin guy. I think that's the very best part. I didn't like some of the retcons they did. For example, I'm a Brotherhood of Steel fan, and I didn't really like how they retconned it a bit. That they have like the power armor is very, weird. I'm very nitpicky as a person, but I didn't like the direction in which they went to. I liked the part that they made them more like a knightly order. I think that's more of a Brotherhood of Steel thing to do, but some of the things I personally didn't like.
Well, we'll get to the Brotherhood of Steel because it's true that they did change some stuff, like I mentioned in that video I made, and there was some stuff that they changed with the power armor, or at least with the T60 power armor, that I wasn't quite on board with, but this might be surprising to hear, but there were a few things that they did with the power armor that I think is good and should be incorporated into the main games.
Yeah, I think the worst thing about me was when I don't know what his name was the Squire guy. He pulled out the energy cell from the knight's armor when the guy got killed by Yao Guai, and the main guy steals his armor, and he realizes it's him, and then he pulls out his power cell or energy cell, whatever it's called. The armor just locks him in, which was kind of weird to see.
The fusion form.
Yeah, it's like haven't they figured out that before? It's kind of a big thing for an army not to figure out, but that's me nitpicking in a way.
I guess, is it nitpicking? Because what is supposed to happen? I guess in the game, if your power armor is taken out, you immediately get out of it. Yeah, the power armor has like some sort of like fail safe where like it opens up.
Yeah, it sounds like a big oversight for the Brotherhood of Steel designers.
I don't know. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, for me it was like I was thinking about it more militaristically. Like if that's an oversight, if the engineers haven't figured it out, what else have they not figured out? What else is like the kill switch for the power armor or for the flying ship or for something like that?
Well, they actually addressed that. The other thing they didn't figure out was the welding.
The welding?
Yeah, leaving a big weak point in the front. Well, not big, but a weak point.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't really remember that part.
Don't you remember the ghoul was like, there's a problem. There was a problem with the T-45 in the welding right below like the chest plate, and he shot someone there, and bullet got through, and guy died.
Really? I see. Sorry, I watched that a bit of time ago. I had exams, and I'm really like iffy about it. Like I said, I'll try to do my best. I'm sorry if I am stuttering or something. I really try to do my best until someone else comes here.
Mm-hmm. All right. Kyle Knight, welcome to the stream. Battle changing. I think that was a typo. It says, "Don't forget the bucket shape of the torso that can't grenades." I'm sure it's yeah. What it means. They need keys for these suits, like a car. That's another thing that they added, I guess. Or maybe like you need a key to take, but then yeah, you need a key to take the power core out of the suit when the suit is in use. Why would you build that in?
Well, maybe I thought about it that way. Maybe the Brotherhood, they're like in this, they are portrayed like a more paladin knightly order. Maybe even every knight has a key for his own armor. Or maybe it's like a master key that does that for every armor. I'm not sure about that. I don't remember that very well, but maybe that sort of gave me like that knightly vibe. Maybe they have every single knight has that for his own armor.
Well, the key, it seemed like the key went directly into the fusion core, so it seems to be like a fusion core specific key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I never thought about it that way. So it's kind of weird. I know I played Fallout 4 with my friend recently, and the weirdest thing about me that was good actually, when you take a power core from a reactor, the reactor stops. And that was like the funnest part for me in the game. That's sort of like micro-realistic, thing to do. But yeah, the thing what they did with the power armor, I didn't like. I'll be brutally honest, I kind of liked that they fly now. Is that Star Wars meme? They fly now.
Yeah. Well,
but I
that's part of the notes. We'll get to that. We'll get to that part because we're talking a bit too much about the Brotherhood already. I was just big up the light
I'm
stuff.
A Brotherhood fan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, right before I started the stream, it was announced that Deathclaws are confirmed to appear in season 2. That's what they said. I mean, the skull at the end was CGI. It looked kind of off, but I gave him the pass because I figured that they were pushing on the budget. It was the last episode. But yeah, Deathclaws in season 2, and I'm hoping for super mutants because so far we only got to see one hand.
Yeah, I think that was due to budget constraints. I heard actually in your video that you put up about the review on the show why they didn't have lasers, especially the Brotherhood, which I believe they usually use like laser weapons, and you said it was like a constraint due to budgeting, which is actually, I think, pretty great thing to point out.
I think it was. Because if it was like Star Wars bolts, that would be, we got that, they have that streamline now, but it's not. It's gonna take more to get laser weapons, right? Because it's one long stream of light needs to come out of a spot and needs to look as if it's impacting, and the light needs to reflect off of everything that it passes nearby of.
Yeah, they have to do something. I think they have to do something special with the lighting, either practical effect, which would be, I would say, maybe less costly but more difficult, or CGI, which would be like less difficult but more costly. So that's why I think they didn't go that route.
Man,
because as I don't know anything about the movie industry or the film industry, but as I figured out, practical effects they're more time consuming, but they're less costly than CGI effects. But CGI effects, are, I would say, easier to do. You don't have to do 100 costumes. You can just CGI 300 guys in a movie and call it.
How come CGI is more expensive, I wonder?
I think because of the amount of work they have to put in through the computer usage. They of course you have to make the totally digital character and then process it through the program and then and I think I don't remember the exact article I read. I know I read somewhere that on average they're like more costly than I'll really try to find it and link it to now that I talked about it, but that's I think the reason why, because practical effects are I would say I prefer them personally because I grew up on them. I grew up on the original Aliens, the original Predator, and I usually prefer those rather than CGI. And I don't like the overusage of CGI when it's done, too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't like. It's like the same thing that's kind of happened with anime, for example. They started relying way too much on computer animation, and now it all looks off.
Yeah, I remember. I think they started doing that. I think mid-season on Naruto Shippuden. Naruto Shippuden. Sorry, my pronunciation is bad, but Naruto Shippuden when they did it like mid the cartoon. I think it was most notable when he fought Pain in the village.
Can't say, homie. I've never seen the show.
You've never seen Naruto?
Not that much. I remember it when it first aired, at least on American TV. I put it on. There was a little bit of a marathon, I guess. What the hell was he saying again? Oh yeah, he said one believe it, and I was out. But then I discovered I found the manga, and thankfully that was much better because they get through things much quicker. You don't have to worry about filler, and a single punch could take an entire episode of Naruto. I'm not being hyperbolic. I saw another episode years later where it was he threw a punch at the beginning of the episode, and for the rest it was like all flashback and exposition, and by the end of the episode he was still throwing the same punch. Clearly filler. Yeah. So in the manga, that one punch would be like it would just be one box, and they would move on to whatever the hell's going on.
Yeah, but if you're gonna consume that, I mean, we're getting off track, but my advice is if you're gonna consume Naruto, I think the best part of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden are the movies. Actually, I think for me, I enjoy them more than the cartoon themselves.
Well, regardless, I can't really watch shonen anime anymore. I'd rather just give me a nice like 26 episode series, nice contained story, and move on.
Yeah,
looks don't like have the time for it.
Yeah, looks like we have someone else in the chat here.
Monkey Cat, yes, welcome to the stream.
Hey.
Hello?
Oh, is my mic not working again?
It's working, but it's quite low.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Or maybe I can increase your volume. Okay, say something.
Okay, how about now?
Okay, yeah, that's better. That is better. So anyway, yeah. I figure we start off, start something like the master here, but screw it, we go at it anyway. The Mystery of Vault 32. I'm suspecting this is something they're going to address more in season 2. But for now, I guess we could do blind speculation. What in the hell happened in Vault 32? Because...
So I guess they like found out about the whole Buds Buddies or whatever it's called.
They seem to have found out something. Yeah. But their reaction kind of doesn't make sense much to me.
Maybe like they found out that they were focusing more on Vault 33 and 32 was kind of like a side product, I think.
Were they?
Well, I'm not sure exactly, but like that's what I thought was happening. Like the only vault that we saw was 33. So I assumed that one was getting preferential treatment, but that's only speculation.
Well, let's look at what we see. We see a video playing about rats, confined in tight spaces, and them as eventually resorting to cannibalism. Right? We see But then we see dead people all around, uneaten. I mean, we see one dude with his leg missing. That's kind of about it. We see hordes of other people who who died without being consumed. We see people who died mid-strangulation. They were busy strangling someone, and they're both dead. There was another group that died as they were trying to force the door open to Vault 31. One was chained to a pipe and holding a cutting torch. But everyone just died right there, and no one tried to leave. The last time the doors were open was 2 years before with using Lucy's mom's Pip-Boy. Were they too scared to go outside? But they weren't too scared to stay inside where everyone was killing each other. Not just the people from Vault 31, because at any point, the people from Vault 32 and 33 are going to outnumber the people from Vault 31. But they didn't just kill them. They killed everyone. And by they, I mean themselves.
I mean, is it really confirmed that nobody escaped before Moldaver and the Raiders arrived? Like, I know that like the latest entry was with Lucy's mom's Pip-Boy, but
right.
Like, do we know for certain that nobody left before that, and we only know about the last entry?
And I would say the point you were making, I know that in some certain lore that people who are in the vaults, who were born in the vaults, who stayed in the vaults, they have their immune system very compromised. So maybe I know it's maybe far-fetched, but maybe that played a part in that. I'm not very sure about that, but, could be maybe the overseer stated, if you open that, if you will die or something, your immune system will get compromised. I know it's far-fetched, but, could happen.
Yeah, because they would just assume, after finding out the truth, be like, oh, they've been lying to us about something this whole time. Maybe they're lying about that too. That's why we're going to leave.
And do we even know where the entrance to Vault 32 is? Like, maybe it was like dangerous or irradiated around it, but kind of that begs the question of how did Moldaver's group get there?
Exactly. Moldaver with 2 or 3 ex-NCR, I guess, and a horde of raiders. I don't know. I mean, it might I was gonna say it might explain why that one raider that married Lucy had over 800 rads in him. Fine. But then Moldaver must be, she must be packing away the rat away. So nah, I don't see it. But then again, I have to rewatch that scene to see, did he say that the last time it was open, or the only time the vault door was open since being closed was with the Pip-Boy? And if anyone did leave, I mean, it was only 2 years before. I guess maybe they're all dead. Oh well, I guess we'll never know. Next topic, the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were wrist jets now. We know in the game that in Fallout 4 they introduced the idea of power armor flying.
Yeah, I think they had like on their back some sort of jetpack, yes. which was weird because if you think realistically, if you put jetpacks on your arms will like fly off your body. Basically it's not a good idea.
So I think they took too much inspiration from Iron Man's suit in the show. Like, even with how the helmet opens, like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they usually put the helmet even in Fallout 3 in New Vegas. Like it's just a normal helmet. It's like a normal medieval type helmet. You just put it on your head. It doesn't like magically open up. But yeah, they took a lot of inspiration, I think, from Iron Man.
Yeah, even in Fallout 4, we see Paladin Danse put on the helmet, and it's just one big helmet that you put on. It doesn't open in any way.
Right. So then I guess it must have been easier production wise to have that instead of having them take a helmet off. Was part of the helmet CGI?
I would say it looked for me when I watched when the main character it opened up for him. It looked practical effect to me personally. Yeah, I'm not very good at figuring that out, but for me it really looked practical.
I guess. Although the helmet aside, the wrist jets. I mean, I'm not a physicist or anything, but to me, just looking at it, it doesn't exactly look like it will be able to generate the necessary propulsion for flight. I don't think really the jetpack would either, but it would have a better chance, maybe.
Yeah, because if you looked at it anatomically, the arms are the weakest part of the human's body. If he put it, for example, on the legs, which are like the strongest part, it would make more sense to generate enough force for him to, lift the whole armor up.
Yeah, that was a change I wasn't too excited for. And I'm not sure that I think the stories could have still worked even if the power armor didn't fly.
Yeah, exactly. Like we only see Maximus use it to get to Fury and then while fighting Cooper. But I don't remember any other instance of him using it.
Of him using it? No. Lucy's dad uses his to fly off Griffin's observatory, but he could have just jumped off.
Yeah, exactly. Like we know from Fallout 4 that it dampens falls, so that could have worked as well.
And him flying away from Cooper, it could have instead been Cooper exploiting that weakness to shoot him, wound him, and he has to retreat. Just runs away.
Yeah, I mean it could work in the story because he was just, I think, just knighted, or was it the scene after? I don't remember.
Well, Maximus wasn't really knighted. Like it's implied that he will get knighted after the end of the first season, but Maximus was just a page.
Yeah, but he was. They did brand him on the neck, on the back of the head.
Yeah, kind of, which is a weird addition to the lore. Like, why brand yourself with a knight that can die at any moment?
The one thing they couldn't change, however, that they had to keep was the voice modulation. Without it, the story wouldn't have worked at all.
But even then, like, I feel the voice modulation is stronger in this show. Like, you could still like hear Paladin Danse in Fallout 4 and know it's him based on the voice.
Right. Because there wasn't much voice modulation in Power Armor until now.
Show, it's strengthened for some reason, so that we know why.
We know why. Yeah.
Otherwise, like Maximus wouldn't be able to bullshit anyone.
Exactly. So it's almost like it was almost an afterthought where they wrote the story and then they realized, oh crap, you're just gonna realize it's him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's like adding things to the story just for the sake of adding things because you didn't think it through, which is something that I personally mind really much when they do in any show. When they don't respect the source material that very much, in my opinion.
I think it would be better if they had Titus like be more of a quiet type, which he kind of was. So like Maximus would be able to get away with speaking only a little.
Or just and changing his voice by himself, like he did when he was talking on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. He does that while speaking on the radio. So while they send him the other page, I don't know what his name was.
Thaddeus.
Like, he would almost never talks so that he doesn't find out. But like it would slip up when they, kind of become friends after Maximus saves his life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when it would have slipped.
Yes, yeah. But they didn't do that. Change the voice. Another thing that they, for some reason, when they were fighting the ghoul and the ghoul, turned the lights off, they never turned on the flashlight attachment that they have on their helmets.
I did not even realize that that's an oversight, but yeah, now that's got into my head.
Yeah, they have flashlights attached to the T60 power armor helmet. That was kind of weird, but oh well. Maybe they can explain it away by saying that that doesn't work either. They're trained soldiers.
I mean, maybe like they were surprised, but
yes, maybe.
Yeah, but they're trained soldiers.
Yeah.
The first reaction would be, I gotta turn on the light.
Yeah, but like we don't really see this chapter of the Brotherhood being competent much. Like
I guess, yeah, that one guy was bitched up.
Like the only victory they get is against the remainders of the NCR, and that's just a few dudes.
And
even then, they put up quite the fight. Like the fighting goes on until the evening, essentially.
Another thing was the amount of force that the power armor can generate. Because when Maximus takes it over, we see him like throwing rocks and shit from miles on end all the way to the ocean. We see him kick a rock and destroy a brick wall. So then I thought, wait a minute, if it could generate this amount of force with his arms and legs, then when he punched that Yao Guai in the head, he should have taken his head clean off. When he punched the ghoul in the gut, his hand probably would have gone all the way straight through him.
Like in the games, they wearing power armor adds a strength modifier to you, but yeah, in the show it's kind of inconsistent.
Yeah, it is. Why?
Maybe because both the ghoul and the Yao Guai are mutated creatures. Although it doesn't make much sense, but maybe they have, because of mutations, higher durability, because like even the ghoul character, ghouls in the Fallout video games, they're like regular people but radiant. They're not like super regenerative creatures. That's like more for, I would say, even for super mutants, not for mutants.
I can definitely see like Cooper having high endurance and agility, and like Maximus breaking that building, like it was kind of dilapidated, so I can like stretch it a bit, like to believe that it was basically a step away from falling apart anyway, and like Maximus's kick of the rock on the building was kind of the last push that made the domino effect.
Huh. I don't know. I don't think the radiation would have turned Yao Guai and ghouls into like steel.
Yeah, but in the show, that's what I was saying. In the show, the ghoul, the main character of the ghoul, when he gets shot, he got shot multiple times in the show, and he just basically walks it off.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah, for example, in Philly, that sniper, like he shoots him several times in the back, and he just sits down behind cover without a care in the world.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about. But I guess it is something I'm going to bring up later on when we talk about ghouls, because they seem to have buffed their regenerative capabilities. When before it was high, but only when they're saturated in radiation. And even then, they weren't immortal.
Get around to that ghoul serum and how quickly it heals shit. Like,
yeah, I'm not entirely sure it was a ghoul serum,
in my opinion.
I don't know if the serum. I don't remember very much if the serum was even in the games. I think it was just due to levels of radiation, because the radiation, as I remember, it fries their brains completely, and that's how they become feral. It doesn't have anything to do with some sort of weird serum.
Like at first, before they outright say that it's making him into a ghoul, at first I kind of thought like it would be some sort of weird version of the FEV virus, because we know that some of it survived the Mariposa base destruction. Like in Fallout 2, there are several people that become mutants because of excavating that area.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's still a stretch.
Yeah, but maybe it could make sense, because in the original Fallouts, the FEV turns you into super mutants. But that's if you like, it's high doses of FEV, and maybe a very, very small dose. I know it's a stretch, but maybe a very, very small dose keeps you from going feral.
I could see that, like, especially with what's his name, Harold. Like, he was like exposed to FEV, and he kind of looks more like a ghoul than a super mutant.
Right. That's the FEV. For the most part, it turns you into a super mutant. But sometimes it can have complications, like Harold, for example. That's why the Master's Army preferred heavily to take people who were not heavily irradiated, because that's what tends to, throw it off and make them also dumb. And that's why Marcus in New Vegas, was it New Vegas? Or was it Fallout 2? Fallout 2, I think. He says that we should have only used the best. What was that?
Marcus was both in Fallout 2 and New Vegas.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I can't remember which one he says the quote.
Yeah, he was in Jacobstown, I think.
Yeah, he was in Jacobstown.
2 is in Broken Hills, yeah. But yeah. Also, fusion cores never run out. You see, there's a description too for powered armor in the original games that reads, powered armor, a self-contained suit of advanced technology armor, powered by a microfusion reactor, that we now call fusion cell, with enough fuel to last 100 years. Now, of course, in Fallout 4, they did not last 100 years, and this was obviously done for, a game mechanic. This isn't particularly related to the show, but I just want to put my opinion out there of what they should have done, maybe what they can do next time, was make it so power armor fusion cores do not run out, but fusion cores are extremely difficult to find, as well as power armor. I shouldn't be able to throw a rock without hitting a power armor in that game, or at least a piece of it. That's ridiculous. I can't be tripping over XO1 powered armor. That shouldn't be a thing.
But yeah, because in Fallout 4, I think I think Fallout 4, because I played only 3, 4 in New Vegas, and I think in 4 they made it that way because Fallout 4 is kind of leans more into the power fantasy version of a Fallout game.
They're trying to lean towards like a mass audience. They're worried about alienating too many people or something. They're worried about not appealing to the most people as they possibly can. For business reasons.
Which, in my view, backfired with Fallout 76. But we'll see how the next game plays out. So
maybe. I mean, I can't be walking around with boxes full of XO1 power armor, full sets.
Yeah, like XO1 power armor shouldn't even be a thing anymore. Like, any sets that existed since Fallout 2 should be basically unusable at this point.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine the Brotherhood of Steel taking some of it.
I mean, yeah, but like kind of, reverse engineering them and coming up with their own thing.
But how are they going to produce it? They don't have factories.
Well, that's the thing. They won't, but they are going to look up what Enclave used to upgrade the power armor and try to at least somehow apply it to their armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I believe that Todd Howard, in my opinion, he's afraid to push the Fallout series forward in a post-apocalyptic, where they're trying to rebuild even more after the nuclear apocalypse, and that's why maybe they will, in the future game, even maybe in the future of the series, they'll start maybe experimenting with like newer versions of power armor that the Brotherhood may have or the Enclave may have. That's at least my opinion, because if he is to push in the post-apocalyptic version of the Fallout series.
Mm-hmm. But Kalev Knight, I'm saying you gotta work for it. You know, you gotta search high and low. You gotta find something, do something to find a fusion core and a full sort of power armor. Especially in a place like Boston, where until now the Brotherhood of Steel hadn't showed up all that much. Where did all this power armor come from? And yeah, sure, I understand military checkpoints and blah blah blah. Sure, you can still have those, but you can't throw full suits at me. And even if you do, it's got to be difficult to get to. And even if you find it, you might not have a fusion core on you. Instead, you're just, but that's another thing. You're not, once you get the power armor, I guess maybe you could argue this balances things out. It's not exactly making you a walking tank, even though it's supposed to. Which brings me on to my next point. The differences that they made the power armor in the show that I actually like, and I think they should incorporate into the mainline games. Number one, they should be stronger. They should be tanks. They should be actually protecting you. I can't be wearing power armor. Someone shoots me with a 10mm pistol, and I take damage. That shouldn't be happening. Also, they shouldn't be shooting me with the same 10mm pistol, empty the clip, and now a piece of my armor is broken.
Yeah, that's why my most favorite power armor in any game I played from Fallout is Fallout 4, because it kind of seemed to me it's very personalizable. It's very like your own, and it shows the wearer as like being in a car, I know it sounds weird, but in a tank of his own. I kind of like that. In New Vegas, when I played, it kind of seemed like it was power armor, but it's just armor with more stats. That moment when you get the first power armor in Fallout 4, when you get into it and the armor closes in on you, I think that's a very good way to incorporate that armor, at least visually, to the audience.
Right. But I mean, I understand why they did it, why they gave you that suit of power armor right from the start of the game, but yeah, I wish they didn't though. Oh well. But yeah, Kalev Knight, I got you. Don't worry about it. Also, another thing I actually want to see added to the power armor, if they make them stronger, is that weak spot that the ghoul exploits. So that, you stand a chance against it without having to go behind it and shoot in the fusion core. You also have a spot in the front that's difficult to hit, even with VATS.
Yeah, because you can think about it like medieval armor. When a medieval knight has his set full of armor, where is the armor weakest? It's weakest at the joints, right, where the joints are. So that's sort of maybe what they were going for in that scene.
And the third thing is power armor compatible weapons. It never quite made sense to me that, I'm in power armor and I'm using this smallest little pistol. The fingers are too thick. At the very least, you're gonna have to modify the weapon to cut open the ring around the trigger. But in the show, it makes more sense where they have specific weapons that are compatible with power armor that they can use.
I'm still not a fan of them using that ugly rifle from Fallout 4.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Yeah, but in my eyes, it kind of made sense that they would use that, because if you're in a power armor, you want to have like the biggest, the baddest gun you have. Like, is it a laser cannon or whatever?
That's
you
a
want it to be
minigun.
big. You want it to be mean. Yeah, you want it to be like the most powerful, the most heaviest weapon you can find, because you can lift it up and you can move with it easily than a person without the armor.
Right.
Also, where the hell are the laser weapons and energy weapons in general in the show? Like, I know that I think Moldaver had one, but we never saw her shoot it.
Yeah, Moldaver had a laser pistol. One of the guards at the Enclave compound had a laser rifle. And you also see in the background a plasma pistol in the store that Lucy goes to in the beginning. But we never see any of it used. We were talking about this earlier because, well, it would be extremely complicated to get it to look right.
I mean, kind of like I can see with the laser rifles and laser pistols because it's a straight line. It's not like a blaster. But with plasma, it is a projectile. So maybe plasma could be easier to,
Probably.
make it look decent in the show.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you think about it, maybe, I mean, plasma could be easier because it's not a straight line. It's like a ball of light, or
it's a ball of plasma.
Ball of plasma. I mean,
Yeah.
It would maybe be easier to animate that. They would have like a light bulb, and they would just, push it around for it to make light or something. I don't know.
But again, this whole compatible weapons thing is probably another thing that Bethesda would never do because they're like, it might overcomplicate things for the average player. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, Fallout, I think now Fallout can be easily split into three fan bases. I would say Fallout 1 and 2 fan base, Fallout 3 and New Vegas fan base, and Fallout 4 and 76 and the show fan base. I think that's how you can split it up. Although the show, I think, more caters to the 4 and 76 fan base.
Well, there are also some people that split it between like Bethesda made content and not Bethesda made content. So essentially Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas, and then 3, 4, 76, and the show.
Oh. So when the trailer came out, you remember that the giant pink water beast that shows up with the
one in the lake?
The finger teeth, yeah.
The finger teeth one, yeah.
Yeah. The ghoul called it a gulper. I didn't want to say it was a gulper, but they look kind of different. And also, we've never seen gulpers in California before. We got 2 games. We've never seen them there. We've only ever seen them in Maine, in Far Harbor. How are they here?
Maybe same creature, different variations. Like for example, you have Deathclaws, and in Deathclaws you have different variations. I think you even have like in Fallout 4, I think you have like a pale version of a Deathclaw. I don't know what's it called, and albino Deathclaw, and I think maybe it's a Gulper, maybe, but a different, like an albino version, maybe could be
like I said, like crocodile Deathclaws in Nuka World, I think.
Gator claws.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought too. And then we also see in Vault 4 that they had one. Maybe they were, I don't know, even pre-war experimenting with radiation's effect on animals, and they stumbled upon it. But then I'm not quite sure why they needed that lady to birth them.
Maybe it was done for shock value to produce the thing that maybe the overseers are like very, very bad, of the scientists who did that are very bad, but I think it's mostly due to shock value.
Yeah, but plot point went nowhere. It was a fake out.
Yeah.
At first,
they did the whole thing for a joke.
Yeah, like at first I thought like they were going to be, like gaslighting Lucy, but no, they're genuinely like trying to fix it. But Like, you have the whole second part of the previous episode basically building up that the vault has some dark secret, and then it never goes anywhere. It's a joke.
Yeah, I figure I call it like the side quest fault. Because, I mean, what the significance happens. We find, I mean, think about it. All of this could have been avoided if they had told them and played them that holotape from the very beginning, instead of just telling them, "Oh, don't go to Vault 12." Especially and then like she mentions Vault 12.
When the Overseer is a fucking Cyclops, like they would be interested. What the hell is happening?
Exactly. They'll be like, "You're giving me even more and more reason to investigate."
Yeah, because and I find it weird that I think I mentioned that with I was talking I think with Icehead on Discord a couple of weeks ago when that episode aired, that it was weird that the Overseer was a mutant. I know that it's not, there were some vaults that had like weird experiments, but I don't think, especially that those people are afraid of radiation, are afraid of mutation, they would put someone as weird as a mutant in charge of the vault.
But yeah, if they didn't do it, then we wouldn't have the joke then. And the somewhat character development for Maximus.
Somewhat.
Yeah, and Lucy too, in a way, I suppose. And then we also see them all.
Unless Maximus thought something was wrong, then he would have never left that vault. Let's be honest.
Yes, yeah. If they didn't drag her through that specific hallway in the vault, right next to him.
Yeah, he will just sit there and eat caviar and popcorn forever.
Yeah. And then we also got to see them, well, get naked and worship Moldaver for reasons that are still unexplained. And I'm not sure will ever be explained because, well, she's dead, so who cares?
And how did Moldaver like survive the Great War? Like I assume. Right.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Like I assume she was also frozen, like in Vault 31. But how did she even get into that project?
I don't know.
They bought her project, so she would no longer be needed.
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, Shady Sands. Where the hell is it? We assume, most people seem to assume.
In the middle of the boneyard, which makes no sense.
That's what people are assuming, but technically we never got any actual confirmation that it's in the boneyard. And I had a discussion a few days ago with someone here on the Discord who said, well, what about Fresno? He says it's not in the boneyard at all, it's in Fresno. Because that would explain the broken down buildings, but then it's like, well, where were the buildings in Fallout 1 and Fallout 2? I think he suggested that this way it makes more sense. Although...
But even then, like, they needed to basically make, what's it called? Like, Adobe houses?
Adobe houses?
Yeah, like, made out of basically burnt, like, bricks, like, out of basically dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they had to use like the land itself. They did not repurpose any old buildings to make structures or anything like that.
Well, no, those old buildings were not structurally sound.
I guess. But yeah, there's also like a well, like an old well.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt that was there like pre-war. Like I think that was built like post-war because...
Yeah, like Shady Sands.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of old-fashioned wells around anywhere.
But they did have a tram line.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, a whole ass tram line. But no one decided because, I mean, all those buildings that are not structurally sound, you may want to form some sort of committee to bring them down because, pieces are going to fall down, hit people in the head. Kind of dangerous. But I did think about the middle of the nowhere thing, though. Because he questioned, Well, why would you build a vault in the middle of nowhere? Technically, you could argue it's more secure that way because it would be out of the way of one major target that nuclear strikes would hit. And it didn't. This wasn't an instantaneous apocalypse. It took a couple hours. So once the bombs started falling elsewhere, people went to their vaults, and some of them made it.
Yeah, but in that sort of chaos, people, like you said, need to get to that place. They need to get to the vault. What if the vault was like in the middle of some mountain? What then? And you're in the middle of the city when the bomb fell. I mean, that's not that vault, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, the only vault I remember that was like literally in a mountain was Vault 0. And that was all brains and jars. But I get your point, though. But I guess it wasn't too far away. Vault 15.
Yeah, it should be somewhere in the middle between middle of nowhere and a populated city. Because when the bombs fell, you need to get there somehow. Because if the roads are blocked, you what are you going to do? Travel 30 kilometers on foot.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't Vault 22 and that one with the powder gangers. Weren't they basically in the middle of nowhere? Like in New Vegas?
Well, I would say the Vault 22, no, not Vault 22. Some of the vaults in New Vegas were not exactly, close, I guess, to the city. And there was only one that was in the city. But I guess it couldn't be too far away, it couldn't be too close. And that might be where Vault 15 fell as well. But we don't get to see that, maybe because of, I don't know, engine limitations at the time. But then you could argue the reverse too, that we didn't see the broken down buildings of Fresno, wherever it might have been, due to engine limitations. And if it is, let's say Shady Sands is in the boneyard, why did the Master and the Super Mutants leave it alone? Did it have protection like Adatum did? I mean, they left...
Like, I know that in the boneyard, the followers of the apocalypse are.
Yeah.
And it's essentially impossible to get the ending where they survive, which is the canonical ending, because the Master's army is supposed to destroy it in 90 days. And you are not beating the game in 90 days.
Right. So then, but Shady Sands did make it.
And Shady Sands is like right next to Vault 13. And when the Master's army finds Vault 13, it's game over. So yeah, that doesn't make any sense if it were in the boneyard.
Yeah, I think it was basically an oversight, maybe. I mean, I don't believe the makers are that stupid, but if it was on the open that the Master and his super mutants, they would blast the doors open, kill everyone inside, and steal the water chip, or take everybody inside and make them into super mutants. It doesn't make much sense that it was left unattended like that in the open.
Vault 4, actually, Vault 32, Vault
33. In Bakersfield, we already see mutant presence, like scouting, and if you take too long, they do wipe out the city. And like the Bakersfield is like on the opposite side of LA as it's supposed to be. But like that's the one mistake in the map of Fallout 1 that I can see.
Or maybe it really isn't in the boneyard. Right? I mean, we never really get any confirmation of where Lucy goes or how much they walk. I'm not sure where she went, because when she left her vault, she was in Santa Monica. And where did she go from there? Because from there, Griffith Observatory is like 4-hour walk.
Yeah, like I remember playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and like they are fairly close, like Griffith Park and Santa Monica.
I mean, yeah, a 4 hour walk. I wouldn't say a 4 hour walk is close, but you know, you can do it in a day. But she went off out of nowhere. Obviously, she didn't really have any direction to go. Not until she finds Philly and she's given the exact coordinates for Griffith Observatory. But then after that, she loses the head. And she's trying to track it down because she put a tracker up its nose.
But like, even when she and Maximus track it down, after she gets the head, she gets to the observatory quite quickly. Like,
you know, we don't see that. The episode
Maximus
ends.
Is picked up in the vertibird. They fly to Philly, and he gets threatened and prepared a bit, and then they fly to the observatory, and they come there quite like maybe half an hour or something like that after Lucy arrives.
Half an hour.
Maybe like I don't know the precise time.
Yeah, we can know the precise time because the episode ends.
It all happens during the course of a single day.
I don't know. The episode because it's between episode 7 and 8. Episode 7 ends and we don't know how long anything else took. How long was that vertebrate in the sky? How long did it take for them to transport Thaddeus, Maximus's, to Squire to be? He seemed like he got there pretty quick. I don't know how long he was in that dentist office. But earlier when they were flying from the Salt Flats to wherever they were going, eventually the bitch knight was like, all right, I'm bored now, land the plane. But how long were they flying? Did he get bored after like 5 minutes? I don't know.
I think the show has a large problem with geography in general. And like, I don't want to compare this show to that piece of shit show, but in the Witcher show, the geography was also nonsensical.
I didn't think at all about the geography when watching the Witcher show.
Yeah, like I did for a bit and it made no sense. And like, I will be thankful for the day when I get dementia and forget about that whole thing.
Any bottom. Oh well. So basically, we have no idea where Shady Sands is definitively. It seemed like it's in Boneyard, but if it is, then it causes too much problems. Some problems.
Yeah.
But then
then like Santa Monica is close to the Boneyard, so let's assume that Shady Sands wasn't in the Boneyard. How come she never stumbled up across the hub or Aditum at all? Like, is her sense of direction that bad?
I mean, if she made a beeline from Shady Sands to the Boneyard, and Shady Sands is where it's at in the games, then yeah, it would be weird that she did not encounter Junktown or the hub along the way. But then, I mean, that would mean that she got out of Santa Monica and head north, I guess, because from there, Griffith Observatory would be more east. No, yeah, more east, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea where she went. But even so, Shady Sands was, you see, when they show that billboard, it says that Shady Sands was the first capital of the NCR. That's what it said. I brought it up here and someone said that that's not unusual at all. Countries do that all the time when they have like maybe expansion plans. Maybe they'll change the capital later on, or maybe it wasn't the capital at all at the time. At the time it blew up.
Like did the NCR, if they really moved capitals, which I assume they did, nobody thought to check Shady Sands. Like the Brotherhood of Steel got there first, and they're supposed to be quite a ways off.
Yeah, the Brotherhood of Steel came to investigate because nuclear explosion, but The NCR never did?
Yeah, which was weird given the context of New Vegas. In New Vegas, they would probably mention at least the NCR or the Legions that something happened in Shady Sands. No.
Well,
Because the
like, I don't know who exactly said it, but someone from Bethesda said that the destruction of Shady Sands happened after New Vegas.
Yeah, it was Todd Howard.
Yeah, but in Vault 4, the whole board, like, fall of Shady Sands, like, what do they mean by fall? Like, do they mean the explosion itself? Because if so, that day doesn't make sense. And if they don't, then what do they mean by the fall? Because like a nuke is kind of an instantaneous thing. Like you do not really expect a nuke over a large period of time. So
No.
I don't know how they could attribute whichever societal decade was happening, why they would contribute it and imply that it leads directly to the nuking of Shady Sands.
I mean, my idea was some sort of subjective political statement.
Like Kimball got elected, so NCR is ruined, the West has fallen, billions must die. That kind of talk.
Yeah, you know how every election there's people saying like the country's doomed and I'm moving away if X person wins.
I mean, I can kind of see that, especially since it seems to be implied that NCR lost New Vegas and the Hoover Dam. So I can kind of see like Kimball being seen as a goddamn failure. But then again, who did win the Battle of Hoover Dam? It's certainly not the Legion because we would see their presence somewhere. So unless it was like the independent Vegas, then it would be House, and that's kind of my theory because why would Lucy's dad go to New Vegas if House wasn't there?
What else? Yeah, what else is there?
Yeah, maybe, but maybe they would. I think if that theory is true, they should have put some of those. I don't know what they're called, automaton robots from New Vegas. Maybe some reference to them. If they maybe some dead robot. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're trying to say, but like Mr. House's robots were like small in number. Like they needed the robots in the bunker to even have a chance of securing the little territory that the house already had.
Right.
So I don't see them like being being needed to be seen in the first season in order to like believe that they are around, unlike the Legion, which has superior numbers.
And we never hear one word about the Legion. And if they won, then I think we would have.
It's kind of funny that the Fiends outlived the Legion, like the goddamn Fiends, really?
No, I think he was just using Fiends to like talk about a particular kind of person. Like they call cannibals Fiends, maybe, not the chemmed up Fiends that we're thinking of, not Cook or Motor Runner.
Yeah, and if the Legion won, I think we would see like crucified corpses all over the place. So
that too.
They usually do that.
And especially with the NCR like seemingly falling apart, like they would capitalize the shit out of it.
Yeah. Someone suggested that they're gonna bring.
Like they would be at Shady Sands quicker than the Brotherhood if that actually happened.
Someone suggested they're gonna try and do like some sort of like stalemate ending where no one wins New Vegas and Hoover Dam is just kind of there, I guess, unoccupied.
Yeah, that would be weird if they leave it unoccupied because Hoover Dam is in a setting where energy is scarce. Hoover Dam is like the source of a lot of like water and energy, and it would be weird to just like let it be and no one conquers it. It would be like strategically stupid, in my opinion.
So I have a tweet here from Chris Avalon. He's been watching the show. Someone by the name of Lath asked him, "Hi Chris, I have a question about the timeline. Is there a conflict in the lore story? The Shady Sands area was not destroyed in the events of the Fallout 1 story, and after the events of New Vegas, it was destroyed. Is this true?" Chris Avalon responds, "Shady Sands was destroyed by the TV show, nothing else. Had Shady Sands actually been bombed at the time they said, which is shortly before New Vegas, every NCR person you meet in Mojave would have talked about it and be out for blood and revenge. Also, the NCR would have had difficulty finding out who was responsible and would have likely blamed it on the only faction that has that kind of power, like the Brotherhood of Steel," which is what I've been saying. And he puts in quotations, a Brotherhood NCR war was the same setup for the NCR Brotherhood of Steel after Fallout 2 for Van Buren. Now someone responds to him, someone called May Technique, saying, "I believe Todd confirmed in an interview it was bombed shortly after New Vegas." Chris Avalon responds, "Yeah, but the date on the chalkboard, I believe, is the point of contention. Even if the date on the chalkboard is wrong, having a chalkboard be an unreliable narrator is poor script writing." Later on, a man responds to that, a man called Quimin Jai Shilai. He gives us some evidence, some screenshots for what he's backing up. He's saying, 1, the credits sequence for episode 5 shows a library book with the due dates ending just before 2277 in the ruins of Shady. So like, no one ever checked it out after that. No due date because there was nowhere to return it to, I guess. Number 2, Lucy says her mother died in the, quote, Great Plague of 77, end quote. I remember that. So there's 3 separate allusions to 2277 as an important date. Add the chalkboard, and that's 3 separate allusions to 2277 as an important date with something really bad happening in Shady Sands. So my theory is that 2277 was the intended date of the Shady Sands nuke, and Todd is just covering his ass by saying it happened after New Vegas. Also, if Shady fell in 2277, why is it still the capital of the NCR in New Vegas, even if we accept the nuke happened later? Why would the NCR have its capital in a fallen city?
Yeah, but that's what I was talking before. You know, in playing New Vegas, no one in the NCR or the Legion or any faction mentions the fall of Shady Sands.
No.
Like,
that's why I think it has to be some sort of subjective political statement that a trooper, you know, someone part of the army, wouldn't say.
Yeah, but I really think it would be hard for the Legion. For example, in the New Vegas game, Legion has spies all over the place. It would be weird for some of their spies not to infiltrate the NCR and to figure out, okay, Shady Sands has fallen. Let's say that to Caesar. You know?
Yeah, but fallen how?
Yeah, that's fallen how, I don't know.
Right,
the show doesn't explain.
Right, that's why I think it has to be some sort of like point of view of someone, because Shady Sands still had to be intact. Otherwise, they would say, you know, it got blown up. Hey, Caesar, it's not there anymore. It's fallen. But instead, it was still there. If the bomb came later, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say about that, because that timeline, if the fall doesn't mean the nuclear bomb, then yeah, what is it?
Right. That's why I think it has to be subjective.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just poor writing, you know.
I mean, if we apply Occam's razor to this, which one is the simplest answer?
Bethesda not knowing the lore and retconning shit again, like they did in
Yeah,
Fallout 4 on several occasions.
or Todd Howard getting jealous at Obsidian that they made the best Fallout game, you know.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Or Todd Howard getting jealous for Obsidian for making the best Fallout games.
I mean, I don't know. I think Chris Avallone addressed that. He said that there probably is like an element of that within Bethesda, but he doesn't think that it's coming from Todd Howard because when they were developing it, Todd Howard was always very supportive of them and helped them out a lot.
I personally think that it's a mixture of both. Like we just saw on Twitter, Emil Pagliarulo accidentally turning the male protagonist of Fallout 4 into a war criminal.
Oh yeah, Emil Pagliarulo.
Like, how do you not see that? Like, I haven't seen that cutscene in a while, but I still remember that the guy in question laughs at the execution of a prisoner of war. The Fallout community has latched onto it and started role-playing the sole survivor as a psychopath and a war criminal now.
I mean, he really should have thought that one through. But then we started arguing about whether or not Canada was really being annexed or was annexed at that point. And I don't know, I didn't want to believe it. I don't know, people. This comes as no surprise, but people on Twitter like to start random arguments. Is it possible that?
And speaking of Canada,
yeah, go on.
Sorry.
No, go on.
And speaking of Canada, I prefer winter settings in video game. I would rather prefer for the next Fallout game. I know it's theoretical to be maybe in Canada because it still operates in the same region of
North America.
Of America. Yeah. North America, but it would be a different setting. It would be a winter setting. You could add like frost, maybe frostbite as an issue. Maybe even add different enemies, different types of creatures. You said, I know you said to me that would be like Metro from the developers, but it would be still a cool setting in my opinion.
Yeah, but you see what you're doing here, though. You're complicating things. You're making it so like your average gamer is going to be confused. It's going to frighten them. At least I'm talking as if I'm Bethesda right now. It's going to scare them away. They're going to tell their friends, and they're going to buy our game.
That they're trying to appease the average gamer. For example, they did it with Starfield, and Starfield is horrible.
I don't know. I haven't played Starfield.
Neither have I, but everybody who's played it, who I know, says the game is shit. So,
was it too simple?
It tried to be, I would say, everything at once. It tried to be, you have 10 billion planets or how many, and instead it should have been maybe like 4 planets and just make them very, very, very dense and complex instead of just, empty map. It's like, I remember one review said it was like a 10 kilometers wide, but 10 centimeters deep of a game.
Yeah, you don't want that. So yeah, we have, at the end of the day, we kind of have to just take Todd Howard's word for it. The bomb went off after New Vegas. And I assume that the fall that they're referring to is subjective. High Ground said that what if Ulysses nuked the NCR from Lonesome Road, but then the story, the twist at the end of the show wouldn't work. That Vault-Tec was the one, or Hank, or the one and the same, was the one that blew up Shady Sands. And also, at the end of Lonesome Road, you point out to Ulysses that there's not enough nukes here to take out the NCR. So instead, he blows up the roads that they use for logistics, for supply lines. We can't get supplies, they starve to death. Yeah, that doesn't work either. But then we get to the other point of contention, which was New Vegas itself. Did they change New Vegas? Who won? Are they doing a thing where they're destroying? Are Bethesda basically making the show an analogy to what they might be doing? Are they destroying everything and then rebuilding a post-apocalypse in their own image?
Yeah, I think maybe since we seen Mr. House briefly in the Fallout show, I think maybe it will be stupid not to return that character in some way in the second season. So maybe that would assume that maybe Mr. House is
alive.
Faction 1.
House is alive?
Perhaps. There's no reason for him to be in the first season if he's not going to appear in the second season in some way. In my opinion.
I mean, they could just show him to, some form of fan service to make New Vegas fans go all soy face. But like even in the scene where he is, where Mr. House is, he speaks remarkably little there.
Mm-hmm. Didn't he promise the actor that in season 2 he's really gonna pop off? Because House would never leave Vegas in that state, in the state that we saw in the credits, at least. There's trash everywhere. There seems to be a massive fight. Securitrons are disabled.
Yeah, but maybe he could use, this is far-fetched, maybe he could use a Securitron, like, for example, like Victor or something like that, to follow the main characters, like to be there without being there physically,
Mm-hmm.
So that is far-fetched as far-fetched could be, but perhaps.
Well, it's likely that if House is alive, they didn't get all of his Securitrons. I guess, because there's tons of Victors walking around. Technically, it's a different robot, but with the same Victor personality on it. I think that's how it's worked. But then, House couldn't have won because otherwise the Securitrons would have been upgraded. It'd still be around. The NCR, I guess, didn't win either because all the shady sands. Legion couldn't have won because otherwise we would have heard of him or seen him even. Independent Vegas, maybe. I guess that might explain the big fight that seems to have happened, as from what we saw in the credits at least. We saw a crashed NCR vertibird. We saw tank traps laid out. I don't know who had tanks, but broken down security cars.
I think that you mentioned that seems for me maybe like the neutralist, safest route they could take the show, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Like NCR or Legion are maybe like two extreme different points of view that are so extreme that maybe they would have to retcon the entire lore. But if you take Independent Vegas, you can do anything with it.
Right. Well, we mentioned how House showed up at the Vault-Tec meeting. So he figured out in 2065, I think he said, that a nuclear war is inevitable. And sometime between then and 2077, he was in cahoots with Vault-Tec. He didn't go into one of the vaults. He still stuck around to protect New Vegas. He didn't give any of his anti-nuke technology to Vault-Tec or anyone else. He said screw off, and he only fortified Vegas. And I guess it's possible he's still alive. But then, even if they make kind of a big deal or a cameo appearance in season 1. Franklin Sinclair also makes an appearance, and he's very dead. I'm quite sure. I don't know. But regardless, he didn't join the Enclave, or maybe he wasn't even invited to join the Enclave. The Enclave to me right now is starting to feel almost like Fallout's version of Order 66 with Star Wars. Exactly how many of them are left? You know, after all this ass whooping they got.
Yeah, and if you remember in New Vegas, the Enclave are basically
senior
very
citizens.
Small group. Yeah, as far as I remember, it's very small group there. It's not even a faction at that point. I think the freaking boomers are a bigger faction than they are.
Mm-hmm. But now this is 54 years after the oil platform went up. And okay, they got after that, they flew over to the West Coast. West Coast? No, East Coast. But they got their ass handed to them there as well, twice. And now they still have an entire compound with a lot of personnel, and they seem to be doing K9-related research.
I mean, it seems that Bethesda wants to use Enclave as another faction they can milk, because that next gen update is apparently adding the Enclave to Fallout 4.
It did.
Like,
yeah,
why?
I heard about that.
Like I know that Bethesda has trouble establishing new factions that are actually good, but like, you know, the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave should be basically no longer exist because they are dead ends, and they have been since the very beginning.
Yeah, it seems like the somehow Palpatine return moment all over again.
Almost. I mean, the Brotherhood, yeah, in New Vegas, even McNamara, pathetic as it is, he admits we're just gonna die out. But they started taking outside members, i.e. Maximus. I don't know when, because this is taking place about, how long? It's 96? About 18 years after New Vegas. And during New Vegas, they were not taking outside members. But the Brotherhood of Steel, Maxon's Brotherhood of Steel on the East Coast were.
Yeah, but I would say that's perhaps like you have, for example, in Crusader times, you had different crusading orders, and they had different subcultures between them. They had different rules, and maybe each different sub-faction of the Brotherhood of Steel has their different maybe codex, different way of thinking. They're the same, but they're a bit different. Maybe they give outside members the chance. Maybe the one on the East Coast doesn't. You know.
Right, but why and when did that change for the East Coast Brotherhood?
Maybe even because of the courier.
Courier?
Was that in New Vegas? I know they give the courier, if you side with the Brotherhood, with Veronica, they give you power armor training, and they basically, I don't think they make you into a member of the Brotherhood, but they give you power armor training, which is a big deal,
right?
In my eyes. Which
makes me think of Hank, because he went through that Buds training, and that training was it was all over the place. They even gave him power armor training. Remember the one guy, piece of power armor that walks into the room without a head? And then Lucy's dad gets into it?
Aha, yes, that. Okay.
Right, which means even Lucy's dad has power armor training. I mean, that old lady in the vault, she must have it too. The blonde lady with the missing eye, power armor training as well. Everyone from Vault 31 has power armor training. Why? I don't know. Yeah,
because in the games it made sense, even in Fallout 4. In Fallout 4, the main protagonist, if you play as a man, you understand why he gets power armor training because he was in the military.
Right, yeah. I'll write that off. He was in the military, he's worn power armor before. Clear pass. Makes perfect sense. Corporate managers, though, I'm not quite sure, but I guess they figured, it's going to be the post-apocalypse. If you find yourself some power armor, it would be very useful if you knew how to use it. So, yeah.
Yeah, but that's if you knew how to use it. That's the point. It's like getting your driver's license,
right, and
versus driving the bike.
Right, and that's why I figured the Buds training included power armors, not just making super managers.
Yeah, but wouldn't that assume that there will be power armor there? In that vault, in that particular vault.
Or they just figured, there might be some power armor out there that you could find even after the apocalypse. And if you do, you better be prepared. Right?
I mean, maybe they had power armor training in those, I don't know what they're called. You have it in Fallout 3 New Vegas, those virtual reality pods.
Okay. Did they have those in the vault?
I have no idea. Honest to God, I have no idea. But I think maybe if they had, maybe they could get power armor training that way virtually. If that's even possible.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it sounds far-fetched because it is, but that's just maybe it happened.
Well, at least now we know that canonically speaking, Walton Goggins is the Vault Boy. Canon now, it's part of Vault-Tec. And also, who dropped the bombs?
The Chinese.
The Chinese still? I mean, that was never made official canon.
I mean, who did the Americans go to war with? It was either Russia or China because they called them the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
And who are the Reds? Well, mostly the Russians, Chinese. I don't think it would be the Cubans.
No, that's a few years past that.
I know that the original idea was that China would drop the bombs, but I don't think it's explicitly said anywhere in the games who dropped the bombs.
No, it's not.
And I think that was intentional. It doesn't matter who dropped the bombs, but suddenly the show decided that it does matter, and it was fucking Vault-Tec.
Well, it doesn't solidify that it is Vault-Tec. They just say that they had the suggestion that they could drop the bombs first in order to ensure, their business. Because then people pointed out, well, okay, if she was the one who decided that they dropped the bombs first, but they dropped the bombs when her kid is outside, and her ex-husband has visitation rights, you could explain that then, well, maybe she came up with the idea, but she didn't get to decide when and where. Or maybe the governments of the world still beat them to it. And now after the apocalypse, they go back to their initial idea of using the bombs first by using it on Shady Sands. Right? It could be they didn't do it then, but they are doing it now. That's my take. And speaking of snow, that Enclave compound I mentioned before, it's located somewhere where there's snow. But it seems that the Brotherhood of Steel from Boston found him somehow when he ran, and they flew over to California or near California. Maybe it's Utah. I think it's Utah. To look for him. Obviously, they're not going to explain how they found out about the scientist, but could it maybe indicate a location for this compound? Is it closer to the Commonwealth? Has he been walking for that long?
Well, maybe it has to do something with. Maybe it was closer than you think because maybe it has to do something with nuclear winter, if that's even a thing in the Fallout series.
At this
I mean,
point,
it is in the Frontier battle. The less is said about that, the better.
yeah, the snow in the Frontier was because it was up north. The reason.
But I assume that the nuclear winter is part of the setting because why the hell would the NCR soldiers keep wishing for it?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it probably has to do something up further north when they mention it in New Vegas.
And Kalev Night, the benefits. Hold on, yeah. The Kalev Night for benefits was be for people to use the vaults. That's right. Okay, go on.
No, sorry, you go on. I was just
I was done.
Saying about the winter.
Yeah, but I'm done. I was just answering Chatter's question. Okay. This quote unquote ghoul serum. I'm not entirely sure the guy was actually turned into a ghoul. Even
like,
if
I would honestly believe that he was turned into a mutant, if anything.
Well, a ghoul is a type of mutant.
I mean, yeah, but like with the Force evolutionary virus, I mean, like they got their hands on some sort of weird, maybe contaminated version of the FEV where the Mariposa base was, like in Fallout 2, where several people were mutated because of the excavations. So I could see it like that, but like, big like ghoul serum, like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And like, what is that thing that Cooper needs to take to avoid being a feral ghoul? Like that was never established before. Like at first I assumed it was Radaway, but that doesn't make any sense either.
Some people have suggested that it is Radaway, that it's just like some sort of like a highly concentrated Radaway that they produce post-war.
Yeah, but I would say Radaway in the games reverses the effects of radiation for normal humans. I don't know if it would be working on ghouls the same way that from that it went from ghoul to human, from feral ghoul to a ghoul. I don't know if it would work that way because feral ghouls are like so far gone, not even Radaway would do anything because in the games you would explain it probably.
Well, of course you don't know games, but I guess now we have more of an inkling. The idea is that for humans, Radaway would flush the rats out of their system. For ghouls, the Radaway has a different effect where it keeps them from becoming feral. That's the idea. Although I don't know if every ghoul needs it, or if just some ghouls need it. Maybe only.
Yeah, but I would say it's like with the food situation. In the show, the ghoul was like buried for like what was it, 50 years or even more in that grave, and he didn't need food or water. But later on the show, he needs food and water, which is kind of weird. It's like they didn't think it through.
Well, that's
maybe that's the same thing.
Well, they don't tell us how long it was buried, just that they dig him up once a year. And that's why I figured that he doesn't need the food and water, but he consumes it anyway because he was a human for so long, and now it's just psychological reasons.
I mean, I can kind of believe that Bethesda realized that they fucked up with the retcon about ghouls not needing water or food. So they're kind of hoping people forget about them retconning it and treat it like ghouls need to eat too now.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like Cooper was buried in a grave for who knows how long, so maybe like they don't need to eat as often. but I don't know.
The show says that he was buried. He's buried for 1 year at a time. So once per year, he's dug up.
Yeah, but that's same situation with that stupid quest in Fallout 4 when that kid was in the refrigerator for 200 years without food. You know it.
Or the serum.
Which is it?
The kid was in the fridge without any food, water, or the anti-ghoul, anti-feral serum. A tongue twister over here. Anti-feral serum.
Yes.
And he was fine. So were his parents. So I guess not every ghoul needs it?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like a weird retcon that they made just because in Fallout 1, 2, 3, and 4, as far as in Fallout 1, 2, 3 in New Vegas, I mean, ghouls do need food. You know, that's why they, I think, hunt humans, especially feral ghouls, because they need to consume food, some sort of food.
Not to mention that whole subplot in Necropolis in Fallout 1.
Yeah, for the water. They need the water. Otherwise, they die. If you take their water chip and you don't fix the pump. Well, but I guess that's a Bethesda retcon, not the TV show. The TV show just introduces this serum thing that they need, and I'm not entirely sure why it was that necessary. Well, not exactly like the voice modulation, but what are you gonna do? But the serum that the guy takes to regrow his leg, people have suggested that maybe he's a ghoul that turned into a ghoul without the radiation and therefore his skin isn't peeling off. Some have suggested that it's the mysterious serum from the Fallout 4 quest about the immortal people who are holding their father with the crown thing, and they're taking his blood.
How would it get from the Commonwealth to
I have
California?
no fucking idea. I got nothing on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, like it seems to be like we are doing way more legwork than Bethesda ever did when thinking about the lore. Like, we are thinking about it because we are fans, but I think Bethesda didn't really think things through.
But that's the thing. It wasn't really Bethesda that wrote this show. They helped. But apparently the people who were on the show were, according to Bethesda, very big, long-time fans of the show. Fallout 1 fans.
Yeah, but if they were Fallout 1 fans, I think they would respect the lore a bit more than they did. They would not make it that confusing with that many, I would say, obvious plot holes.
And especially, like, this kind of excuse is used almost every time when it comes to video game adaptations. Like, remember the Witcher show? They also said that they were longtime fans of the books, and the show is inaccurate as fuck.
Did they say that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, they said like they have been all reading the books in order to be accurate, and yeah, that was a fucking lie.
Yeah, because I thought they told the writer to screw off. Or they just pretended as if he was important to them.
Yeah, they pretended.
Yeah, no, so I don't know about this whole curing serum thing, because again, if he's turned into a ghoul, yes, ghouls can regenerate, but only when they're, knee deep in radiation.
Yeah, but even if it was like I said before, small doses of FEV, those small doses, the how much he uses them in the show would probably add up for him to become like some sort of a freak, or I wouldn't say super mutant, but some sort of a mutant.
Yeah, because I don't remember super mutants doing that
shot
either.
With the balls to the goddamn neck, and he survives that. Like, that's absurd.
Right, the man seems almost effectively immortal at this point.
Like if you shoot a ghoul in the games into to the head,
It
then they're
dies.
going to die anyway.
Right.
So like that's why I lean towards some sort of weird super serum that has some sort of forced evolutionary virus. But that begs the question: why is a random goat fucker in possession of such a serum?
I don't know. A dude who, one, he fucks chickens, and two, he was about to blow his own brains out.
Like that's really that really makes no goddamn sense.
Vigil serum? What's Vigil serum? Who's Vigil? High ground. I don't remember this.
Isn't that the guy in Fallout 4?
No,
Like
it was Cabot, right? Lorenzo Cabot. Here it is.
The one that helps you get into the institute, the super mutant. The one that defected.
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, I remember him. But wait, but that's supposed to cure you of the FEV. How would that regrow his foot?
I mean, maybe the FEV has some sort of that side effects that they're gonna say maybe in the second season. They're gonna say, okay, it's the FEV and it can regrow, it can regenerate, because the super mutants are basically, I wouldn't say immortal, but they are, I would say, the next step in human evolution when applied to the FEV. So maybe that's why they did what they did.
They have high endurance, but they don't have that healing factor.
Well, they are like super muscular and super big, so they, in my view, they probably have some sort of a, I would say, faster healing factor than normal people, or even I wouldn't say ghouls, but yeah, than regular people.
Yeah, but their PP don't work.
Right. Were any super mutants in the show? No, we only get to see a hand of a super mutant.
Foreshadowing for the second season.
Probably, yeah, they'll probably see more in there. So yeah, that's another thing. Go on.
Yeah, I was probably gonna say to save the budget, because now that the show is popular in the games, even now the games sell more because of the show. They're gonna have a bigger budget. So
the budget on season 2 is gonna go crazy. Absolutely. Roll in the money. But yeah, no, this whole healing ghoul serum thing, I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll address that too in season 2. And he paid that dude with a fusion core. You know what that means, right? Maximus left his power armor behind. What if this dude finds it and now he's running around fucking chickens with impunity? Who's gonna stop him?
Oh no, he's going to be the last villain. They're going to return to California and they will see him establishing an autocracy where every chicken is sacrificed to him.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Now you're in trouble. You never should have given that fusion core back. And now you're gonna pay for your mistakes, Lucy.
Yeah, he's gonna turn to Brahmin next.
Ah, God. Yeah, we only saw one Brahmin in the show. It doesn't look very Brahmin-y, besides the 2 heads. Brahmin-y. That's a word now.
That's a word now, yeah. But I mean, yeah, you gotta realize the show had very limited budget, so they were pretty much going with it. But yeah, the next season they're probably gonna expand. The most thing I'm looking forward to are super mutants, death claws, and more mutations, because that's basically my favorite part of any Fallout game.
I mean, yeah, if I was the producers, I wouldn't sink that much money in the Brahmin we see for like 2 seconds either. So yeah, whatever. What else?
Sorry, how much time do we have left for the chat?
Plenty. Well, we're probably not gonna make it all the way to 11 because we're almost done here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, sorry to bother. I'm just gonna say I have a big exam tomorrow. I bid you all farewell. Everybody on YouTube, subscribe to Papito Queen. He has the best Star Wars content in my views on YouTube. And shout out to my friend Icehead. See you, everybody.
No, we're
next
almost done here. We're almost done there. How about this? One last topic that I was gonna save up. Fat people.
Here I am.
They would be extinct in the Fallout universe. Let's be honest.
We see two of them.
Yeah, we see one in the vault, and I think I'm not gonna say the name, but the guy who made that statement was actually right. Like, if that guy was in the vault and people saw him, they would assume, okay, he's hoarding up resources.
Especially when they had a famine. Like, that guy would be fucking lynched for it.
Maybe he was the cause of the lack of food. Like,
he's too powerful.
It's like, they're like, dude, you gotta relax. Gizmo, yeah, but Gizmo made sense. You know, he was greedy. He was literally hoarding. So it made sense for him to be fat. But then, besides Gizmo, who else do we see that's of, you know, significant girth? Exactly.
The guy in the vault.
In the show?
Yeah, isn't there a fat guy in the vault?
Yeah, him, yeah. Vic? The guy from New Reno?
Vic.
Isn't that the guy that you're going after in Fallout 2 because he sold the tribe a canteen from Vault 13? So you are trying to get the location of the vault from him, and you free him from the slavers, but he doesn't know anything.
Was he that fat?
I mean, his model was like
kind of girthy, yeah.
But like, it's a small model in an isolated game, so I am not sure how you would check if he really is that fat.
I mean, he's an older gentleman, you know, slower metabolism, I guess. But the guys we see in the show are just like, I mean, they're wide. Like, I don't understand when that one raider in the vault started shooting in this direction. He didn't get hit. He was the biggest thing in that hallway. He didn't get hit.
Maybe he did, yeah, but the large posture gave him damage reduction. You know how in Fallout 1 you would wear power armor and it would sometimes say you got critically hit for no damage.
Oh, what? Missed everything.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing with that one scene when the doctor and the dog ran away and then the minigun pops up and starts shooting and no bullet hits the guy for some reason.
How come it didn't hit him? Like, what the hell?
The bullets went around him. Like, made a perfect like silhouette of his body and the dog.
It's like some Looney Tunes shit.
Yeah. The turret was made by Acme Corporation.
And later we'll find out that it was their plan all along to give the fusion core to Moldaver for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
so yeah,
we were incompetent on purpose. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but it would be more sense. It would make more sense in my eyes that, for example, the overseer in some vault was a bigger guy, not just some random worker there.
That's why I think it has to be some sort of like thyroid issue, I guess. Because how do you explain the guy the fat man outside of the vault?
Eaten by a Deathclaw or a Yaoguai immediately.
Deathclaw can survive off that dude for weeks.
If not years.
now just being mean for no reason.
I mean, yeah, we are, but he kind of deserves it. Like, he's completely incompetent, and like the election, like that was rigged from the start.
The election?
For the overseer.
Oh, him.
But you do not listen.
Yeah, it was him, that other guy, who basically also voted for the woman from Vault 31.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what am I kidding? He just voted for her.
Always
Also,
gonna win anyway.
am I the only one who kind of laughs at Lucy's brother because he kind of looks like an even smaller Ben Shapiro?
Small Ben. Lord, Ben Shapiro, that never crossed my mind. He seems to be the most intelligent person in our vault, though.
My sister married a raider. The vault tag has fallen. Billion must die.
Changed my mind. Kalev Knight, man, coming in with a €10 super chat. I know you don't like it, but I think it's still a death by 1,000 cuts. Talking about the show for the Fallout universe, especially with the show. Anyway, I love you, Pepito. So I have some pennies after all the splits. Keep going. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I am gonna keep going. So yeah, Ivan, I guess that's it. Unless you want to talk about Jim's limbs. Is that something we're gonna see in the next game?
About what?
Jim's limbs. Remember that the dude lost his leg, and so the lady was like, "Here, take this," and it was a mechanical leg that kind of like bore its way into his muscles, or onto his leg.
Yeah,
and it was a waste of an investment since he swallowed cyanide a few hours after.
Yeah. Might as well just got it done right there and then. Yeah. But he didn't. Anyway, I guess you have to go now. There's just one last topic, and that's Moldaver herself. But I guess it doesn't really matter now because kind of dead.
No, it doesn't really matter. Like, I assume that she was part of the Butts. That's how she survived.
She's not, though.
Yeah, but like, how else did she survive? Like, is she and also a ghoul that doesn't lose her skin, or what?
Maybe she had a different cryogenic facility, or some people have been suggesting that she's a synth.
Okay, but why?
I don't, or how?
Yeah, like even if she was a synth, why would the Institute send her on the other side of the continent?
I don't know.
To the NCR, and how could she have enough time to integrate herself into the NCR government so much that she would later be worshipped by the people?
I don't know.
And why would the Institute even bother to make a synth that looks like some random woman that got her research bought by Vault-Tec from before the war?
I don't know. And people have to remember that these Gen 3 synths are not pre-war, because I've been seeing people ask that question. Or like, are synths pre-war? They are not. They are post-war. Made by the Institute after the bombs fell and after they kidnapped the baby to use his DNA to make sense. So no, still have no idea how Moldaver is alive. Got nothing. Zilch, nada, and I don't think anyone cares
it
because
doesn't
she's
matter
dead.
because she's not alive anymore. So
so
who cares?
But then again, why the naked blood drinking worship?
For the shock value, I guess.
Shock value?
I mean, yeah, like like that's kind of the first thing in that episode that makes Lucy think that something is not right with the vault, but then it ends in a cop out, and it basically becomes all a joke. So
right, and she never questions it. She never before she leaves, her okay, one more question though. What was with the worshiping thing? You know, what's with the cult aspect? Why is all that happening?
Yeah, like they address the whole weird thing with the mutated creatures and the pregnant woman, but the cult, that's completely ignored.
Yeah. How did the cult even... why would they form a cult around Moldaver? Around, I don't know, probably one of many Shady Sands or NCR officials or administrators. Did he want her to run for president? And maybe she ran against Kimball and lost? I don't know. Got nothing. Maybe these are things they'll bring up in season 2. Maybe they aren't. Regardless, that's all I have. Those are all the topics I want to talk about. We're pretty much done.
We're done. Everybody on stream, on YouTube, I would like to thank you. Thank you, Papito, for bringing us here. Thank you guys on YouTube, and shout out to my friend Icehead from Romania. Shout out to everybody on stream.
Thanks. And thanks for joining. Thanks for having a conversation. Everybody on stream.
Yeah, it was fun to debate this or discuss this, I guess.
It wasn't really a debate. We didn't have any, any counter perspective, I guess.
I mean, unless we count Bethesda as the counter perspective, because we actually know the lore.
Oh, you mean Todd Howard is wrong?
Probably.
You're on the team of Todd Howard is covering his ass?
No, I think Emil Pagliarulo is covering his ass with how he made Nate into a war criminal.
Yeah, well, that's...
Like I can definitely believe that's just another one of his fuck ups. But like I enjoyed the show. Like sure, some of the things were inaccurate, but it's enjoyable. The main characters are also likable.
Yeah, so like I said, if you know nothing about Fallout, you'll love it.
I especially like Cooper, and I think Maximus has a nice setup for an actual real good arc with the Brotherhood of Steel and him being disenchanted by the whole thing.
Yeah. It's a show that, as a TV show, lore aside, it is a competently made show. And the lore deviations aren't even all like that egregious. That can't at least be explained away somehow, except for the whole Shady Sands being bombed and fallen thing.
Yeah, the shame is that we are the ones doing the explaining for ourselves now.
Maybe you can argue that's a good thing, because it'll bring people back to season 2 hoping for some answers.
I guess.
Yeah. You want people watching. Maybe they know what they're doing more than we think.
Well, time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, regardless.
Well, anyway, it's been fun. I also got a test tomorrow, but I really don't need to study for it because it's going to be easy as fuck.
How do you know that?
Well, because it's just English grammar that's on a high school level, so that's okay.
Yeah.
And I've already revised for it yesterday, so that's all right.
Alright. Well, good luck anyway.
Well,
I'm sure
anyway, everyone that can hear me, leave a like on this stream, and I'll see you later someday.
Yep. Till next time. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for me. And for all of us here. Nice little discussion. I could go on and on about what Fallout as a game should be, and how I want it, and how I desperately try to mod Fallout 4 into what I want it to be, at least from a gameplay perspective. But there's only so much we could do. And Bethesda recently announced, they said that they're gonna try and expand, try to make it so they put more things out quicker. Maybe even go exploring and seeing if they can get other studios to work with them, like an Obsidian Entertainment, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe an In Exile Studios could, do a little Fallout thing. But I guess again we have to just wait and see, because it's a very recent thing. Time for you to answer questions to chat. Chat have anything to say? Anything to ask? I see something about Elvis. Bethesda Games has the fan mods to make him better. Exactly. But then again, the next gen version came out, and like I said, like I predicted, it was great for console players, but a hell of an annoyance for us PC players. Well, me being a PC player. But instead of just complaining about it, I just went and played something else because what else am I gonna do? I might as well just do that. And also, I gotta reinstall Windows. An opportunity to do that without having to worry about my mods getting disrupted. Probably do that this weekend. Where is the Legion and Lanius? In the show? Well, that's the thing. I guess they also lost. Yeah, my assumption is they also lost over them. And they're going to try and write themselves into a corner of everyone somehow lost. You know, like Pharaoh was bringing up Dragon Break recently. Everyone lost somehow. Or maybe it was an independent, you know, yes man victory. But that resulted in, you know, the devastation that we see the stripping. Asking for Linnaeus at this point is like asking where Vader is in the sequel. I don't know. I mean, I think that Ulysses has a point about the Legion, because, you know, if you examine history, every quote-unquote civilization that was based off of war and conquest eventually fell apart because, you know, people started turning on themselves. They have nothing else left to fight, and it turns into, you know, that, yeah, pandemonium. And that's what would have happened to the Legion if they had won, or if they had lost and now they don't know what to do. Linnaeus is pissed. I don't know. Even if Caesar had lived somehow and they lost, he'd still be in big trouble. Parts of his Legion who are like, we can't count on them anymore, we need new leadership, blah blah blah, they end up fighting themselves. They're like the Sith, basically. Caesar's Legion, Caesar's Legion is like the Sith. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. I'm really hoping that everything gets fixed for the Fallout 4 next gen, so we can finally play and stream Fallout London. But I will make sure I finish Jade Empire before that happens. For now, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow there's something I gotta work on that I'm gonna release on Saturday. Also Fallout TV show related, but hopefully much funnier. Yeah, much more lenient on the comedy side of things. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a good one. And until then, going back to streaming, or ask Kitty Sue where you live. She probably won't tell you. And also, I don't know if you have any way to contact her. Regardless, have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.